Most people overlook this, but comfort has a way of sneaking up on us, of softening our edges, dulling our courage, and convincing us that someone else will carry the weight of responsibility. If we're honest with ourselves, the quiet years, the ones without sirens, without crashing headlines, are often the most dangerous. They are the ones where democracy doesn't crumble because of enemies at the gate, but because citizens grow used to sitting back, scrolling past the alarms, and convincing themselves that stability is the same as progress. And I keep asking myself, what happens when the house is not yet on fire, but the wiring beneath it is already sparking? We are living in the early decades of the 21st century, an age of extraordinary convenience and quiet anxiety. It is the era of on-demand everything, of endless entertainment tucked into our pockets, and of problems that feel distant until the moment they are not. Rising automation, widening inequality, a warming planet, fraying trust in our institutions, all these crises unfold while so many of us rest comfortably in our routines, lulled by ease, ignoring the subtle tremors beneath the surface. History rarely signals danger with a blaring horn. Often it arrives as habits, as excuses, as the slow trade of citizenship for consumerism, and that is the paradox we face. The true threat is not always the crisis itself, but the way comfort lulls us to sleep while the foundations beneath us begin to crack. I think back to my time organizing in Chicago, walking block after block, knocking on doors, trying to wake people to the idea that they mattered, that their voices mattered, even when it was inconvenient. We didn't have sirens or smoke to tell us urgency was at hand. The fire was in the neglected schools, in the unequal access to opportunity, in the quiet resignation of too many who had grown used to looking the other way. And yet, every small act, the conversation, the vote, the petition, was a refusal to surrender to the easy path. Those were lessons I carried into politics and eventually into the Oval Office, that the lure of comfort is seductive, but history demands courage even when the cost is invisible in the moment. Comfort tempts leaders to avoid hard truths, to chase approval rather than justice, to manage polls instead of principles. Crisis, on the other hand, has a way of stripping away illusion. It forces decisions. It exposes who is willing to risk something meaningful for what is right. I saw it in moments both grand and quiet. The young activists at lunch counters, workers joining unions despite threats, communities insisting that dignity mattered more than convenience. Each act a declaration that character is worth more than comfort, that the human spirit refuses to yield to ease when principles demand action, and there is an ethical weight here that cannot be ignored. The comfort we enjoy is often built on the unseen labor of others. The quiet worker in a distant factory, the community bearing the brunt of environmental damage, the neighbor who cannot afford the luxuries we take for granted. When we fail to see that, when we mistake privilege for normalcy, we begin to fear inconvenience more than injustice. And democracy, fragile as it is, suffers. People withdraw from public life, vote less, question less, leave power to the loudest, not the wisest. By the time crisis arrives, the guardrails may already be weakened. The long arc of progress shows us that crisis is not the only teacher, but it is often the most convincing. After wars, we built institutions for peace. After economic collapse, we forged safeguards. After eras of injustice, civil rights laws were passed. Yet, the tragedy is that so often we wait for calamity when the courage to act in advance could spare hardship and loss. Today's challenges, climate change, technological upheaval, political polarization, are slow burn crises. They require a patient, sustained courage, a courage that is rarely applauded. Leadership in an age of comfort means saying things people do not want to hear. It means asking those who are secure to bear some inconvenience so that opportunity is more widely shared and so that the generations who follow inherit more than our fears. True unity is not forged only in the blaze of catastrophe. It is built in daily choices, to care about problems that have not yet arrived at our door, to act before suffering demands it, to take discomfort as a signal rather than a threat. The cost of progress includes discomfort, questioning habits, confronting our own biases, holding our allies accountable. Comfort whispers that someone else will fix it, that change can wait, that the threat is exaggerated. And history is full of moments when those whispers prove deadly. So I keep thinking, what we fear reveals who we are. If we fear discomfort more than injustice, we drift towards selfishness. If we fear shame more than failure, we avoid trying. But if we fear complacency more than crisis, we begin to build communities, systems, and movements resilient enough to face whatever comes. The real danger is not that the fire will come, but that we ignore the smoke. Crisis shouts, comfort whispers. Which voice will we answer? And so I ask, will we choose to let the ease of today lull us into weakness, or will we stand patiently, deliberately, courageously to shape a future where democracy, justice, and opportunity endure? Can we recognize the work that comfort conceals and act anyway? And when the storms do arrive, as they inevitably will we have built the strength and character to meet them, or will we have waited too long? If you're thinking about that with me, consider commenting below. Share your thoughts. Let's discuss what it means to fear comfort more than crisis. Subscribe, stay engaged, and ask yourself every day, are you choosing courage today or settling for comfort?